We are live. What's up, guys? So, welcome to the live stream. If you are tuning in to this live stream, welcome. And today we are going to be talking about how I went from $45,000 per month in revenue, not profit, in revenue, to $90,000 per month in revenue, and how I cut my hours from about 60 hours per week to 15 hours per week. Okay, so this happened to me, I would consider recently, about 2 years ago, and I used very specific strategy to make this happen. Why did I do it? Because I was just tired. I was burned out. I was doing all of the roles, like training in the morning to take sales in the evening. Once everybody was gone, I would clean up and pick stuff up. I was managing my team. I was subbing for classes. I was, helping out with trainers if somebody wanted to go on vacation. Guys, I was doing all of it, okay? And I got burnt out. And the reason why I did it 2 years ago, 2 to 3 years ago, is I had kids, and my priorities changed. Okay, they changed from building this empire of a business to making sure that my life and my priorities were focused on them. Okay, so if you feel that, then you guys understand where I was coming from and why I needed to make the change. So the first thing that I did was say, look, I can't afford to lose money, so I need to come up with a strategy to be able to work less, to delegate things out to a team, and in fact, I need to bring in more money. So these are the 5 things. Today in this live stream, we're going to be covering the 5 things that I did that made the switch, that did all of it, okay? I'm going to be telling you what they are, and I'm going to be telling you why they worked, okay? So then it'll just be up to you to execute them and to do them. So here are the 5 things that I did to be able to go. And just so you know, when I went from 15 hours a week, or when I went from 60 hours a week, bringing in 45K a month, right? And I went over to 15 hours a week, bringing in 90K. So I doubled my revenue, which in turn doubled my profit, but I cut my hours by 75%, which means I got a 8x return on my time, an 8x return on my time in the business. That's huge. And absolutely anybody can do it. Anybody that has a brick and mortar gym can do it, right? I didn't do anything special, nothing tricky. I just dialed it in. So let's go over what those are now. Let's go over to it. Okay, number 1 is you need to be able to get your ideal clients, right? You cannot have a mix match of the people you want to serve and who you're actually serving, okay? You have to be able to get your ideal clients. And that's different for other people. Some places are martial arts and, jiu-jitsu. Some are kettlebells. Some are CrossFit. So whatever your ideal client is, you need to be able to get your ideal clients, and you need to get them using the free methods first, okay? Nothing wrong with paid ads. Paid ads are fine and they're great to supplement, but you need to use the free methods first. Okay, so that's number 1. That's one thing that you need to do to get yourself more revenue. Okay, number 2, you need to sell a high ticket program. Okay, you don't need to sell a high ticket program exclusively, right? But you need to have one in your pricing structure. We sell a transformation program. It's a high ticket program, and it's not the only thing we sell, but that is what's going to get you the margins you need to start hiring and delegating. So let's do a little bit of quick math here. Let's say you charge $99 a month for 3 times a week or unlimited classes. Okay, that's your rate. Okay, if you want to be able to make, let's just say $100,000 per year, 6 figures. You're saying, look, I got a couple kids. I started this business. I want to make some decent money. I want to make 6 figures, $100,000, right? Let's do some reverse engineering of the math, and let's figure out how many members you would need to have to pull in that $100,000. Okay, so let's say you charge $100, okay, $100 a month for your service. We know that gyms have about a 20% profit margin. Pretty standard across the board. I've been working with gyms for a while, some a little bit higher, some a little bit lower. 20% profit margin. Now, so that means of that $100 of revenue, $20 is profit. You can put it in your pocket, okay? That's not bad. So let's take a look and see, well, how much profit do we need to make per month to get to $100,000 per year? Okay, well, $100,000 per year divided by 12 months is $8,000 $333. Okay, so $8,300 you need to bring in per month in profit to be able to make your 100 grand per year. So 8,300, let's divide that by 20, right? Divide that by 20. What does that come out to? About 415. 415. That's how many members you need. If you are charging a mid-ticket, if you're charging $100 per month for your membership, you need 415 members, right? Active members every single month that are paying you that $100 for you to make six figures. That's after all the expenses are paid. Guys, that's a shitload of members. Do you know how hard it is to retain 415 members? I've done it. I've done that exact model. It's very, very difficult to do. It's not easy to do, right? Because there arises a lot of complexities, right? Giving a service to 100 people and then being able to deliver that exact same service to 400 people is completely different. It requires a different staff. It requires different systems. It requires much more touch points. It requires a lot. You cannot give the same service to 400 people as you could with the same team and systems that you had with 100. You need to change them, right? And so that is why it is very difficult, almost impossible for gym owners to navigate those waters from 100 to 400 at a low price point and not have things break and they're saying, you know what, I just don't get it. So that's really, really important, is have a high ticket program. What I recommend is $300 a month, right? So sell at least 50% of your members on this $300 a month ticket. Why? Because it attracts your ideal clients and the profit margins are double. They're double, right? So if you are able to cut that number in half, your 415 down to 207, you make the exact same six figures in your pocket at the end of the year, and it's very, very manageable. What you'll actually find out if you're at $300, you're making triple, right? Because $300 divided by 3 is the 100 you were charging. This is what we teach, right? And every single gym that has come on board with us, they were charging low amounts because that's what everybody else was doing. And they didn't know that everybody else was broke too. So we introduce just a little bit these high ticket programs and see who bites. And then it becomes addictive because everybody buys them because of how it's positioned, right? It's positioned against, let's say, private personal training where they charge $70 to $80 per hour, right? We're not charging that much. We're charging half that price, but we're delivering double the results. Wow, that sounds really, really sexy to Mrs. Jones who's looking to get in shape, right? So we're getting our ideal clients and they're paying us what we deserve. And guess what? To run a gym with 200 members is infinitely easier, right? So that's the second thing you need to do, is you need to have this high ticket program in your arsenal somewhere and you need to sell it, okay? So it doesn't matter if it's exclusively the only thing you sell, but you need to be able to pad your margins so you don't have to have 500 customers because it's not possible, okay? So that's the second thing. Then the third thing is you need to fulfill your ass off on your program. You need to fulfill. You need to wow them. You need to over deliver. That is where you get all of your referrals from. So you should be bringing in at least 50% of your customers, new customers, organically. If you're not doing that, and what I mean by organically is they're coming to you. It's not outbound, it's inbound, right? Because of how amazing of an experience you're delivering. So let's say there's a new Mexican restaurant that opens up down the road from you, right? And it is unbelievable. You can't believe how good it is, right? The next time you're hanging out with friends and somebody brings up Mexican food, you are absolutely going to say, hey, have you tried this place out? It was absolutely amazing. I couldn't believe how good it was. It was cheap. It was fast. It gave me exactly what I wanted. I mean, no problems. You got to try it out. Are people saying that about your gym? If they're not, they should be. And there's a very specific way you can get them to say that, and they bring in their friends, and their friends sign up, and it costs you $0 to acquire that customer. But you have to fulfill your ass off, and you have to have a couple systems in place that encourage them to refer. So that's number 3, okay? Number 4, You need to build your team and your systems to run the day to day. So now we're not talking about revenue anymore. The three things that we just covered is what's going to get you from your 45 to your 90. Now we're talking about the time. This is how you get your time back. So you have to build a team. If you don't have a team at first, no worries. It's easy to acquire the right people if you're doing the right things to attract them, right? And so you build a team, you build systems that you master first as the owner, and then you delegate those systems. You say, hey, John, you've been here for 2 weeks now. We've done your onboarding, you've done your shadowing. Are you ready to take over this system? Now, I've been doing this historically. It's been taking me 20 hours per week. I'm going to pass this system onto you while I monitor to make sure everything's good. But you're able to handle it, correct? And if you hired the right person and you trained them right and they shadowed right and you did everything right, they will say, absolutely, I'm ready to do this. But it's not going to dig into the money coming out of your pocket because you increased your revenue doing the first three. It works like clockwork. So now you just stole 10, 20 hours back. So from 60, now we're at 40. We repeat that again. What are you still doing in those 40 hours? Is that something that you could teach somebody else after you've mastered it, right? And if the answer is yes, do you have a plan for what you're going to do with your new time now that you no longer have to do these day-to-day tasks? Okay, so that's what brings me to number 5, the final one. Get really, really good at leading them and developing yourself so you can develop leaders, and then know exactly what you need to do with your free time. Because I don't just sit around and do nothing now that I don't have to work at my gym. But what I do is the 1% of things that nobody else can do in my business. And that's what drives everything forward. I develop my leaders as really good leaders. Everybody that's doing the day to day, think about it. If you learn something, which we're all entrepreneurs, we love to learn, we love to absorb new information and then put it into action at our businesses. Now, what if you spent that amount of time with what you're learning interpreting that and teaching your team the same things, and you invest all of your time in building your team and leveling them up so they get really, really good at their job? That is an exponential return, right? Because how many people is it going to affect? If you learn something amazing about sales and you teach your salesperson and you build a script and you go over it with them, how big of an impact is that going to have on the 2 hours it took you to do it? A large, large impact, because how many sales is that guy going to have using these new methods and these new principles that you learned and then taught to him? What about operations, right? If you come up with a new strategy, a new system that is going to over deliver and wow all of your customers as you onboard them, what does your onboarding process look like now? Could it be better? Are you willing to invest the time and energy to learn how to make it better? And once you do, you teach that team, right? So then every single person that gets onboarded after that, you over deliver and it brings in way more referrals or natural marketing, right? So what kind of return are you getting on your 2 hours that you're spending? A lot more than 2 hours. That's why we don't do the day-to-day, guys. Because if you do day-to-day operations at your gym, you get 2 hours return from the 2 hours of work that you spent. If you're taking care of billing, if you're taking care of all of these things, and you spend 2 hours, you're getting 2 hours back. But if you're leading a team who is doing the day-to-day, you spend 2 hours developing them, the return could be 100x that because of the impact that they're going to have. They don't have time to read books. They don't have time to learn and how to master all of this. That's your job now. So how do you become a leader, right? How do you motivate them? How do you get their goals aligned with the business's goals? And then what do you do with your free time, right? To leverage it. Massive leverage. So the first 3 things that we talked about is how to increase your revenue. Doing a quick recap, you need to utilize free methods before you go to paid methods of getting your ideal clients. And there's a lot out there, guys. In FitBiz, we teach the 5 ways to get free high ticket clients before we start talking about ads. You need to start doing that first. It cuts your cost of acquisition in half. Profit. Number 2, you need to have that high ticket program that you sell. You need to have that. Now, some of you guys have a high ticket program, you're not selling it enough. Some of you don't have a high ticket program and think that your market doesn't support it. It absolutely does. And you just need to break those beliefs, because every single person, every gym owner that's working with FBU right now, they all sell the high ticket prepaid programs, long-term programs, anywhere from $2,000 to $8,000 prepaid programs that they're selling. You see all the testimonials we're posting in the group. I mean, it is like clockwork. These guys are getting a return on their investment of knowledge in 30 days. Right? It's amazing, but you have to just get a couple reps under your belt. Okay? Fulfill your ass off and hold high standards. Make your program absolutely amazing. Okay? Build your teams and your systems so you can delegate them and get your time back. And then finally, become the leader and entrepreneur that you need to be to motivate your team and leverage your time. So you spend 15 hours on your business, but it's really like that when that trickles down to the end user, to the client, it's like you spent 200 hours, and that's how you win. Right? That's how you could make so much more money, because everything that you are doing has such a massive impact on the business. It's impossible to do that if you're doing all the roles, because if you're training, then you're selling, then you're cleaning, then you're teaching class. I mean, there is no time for you to have these massive impacts, these leverages across your team that really drive your business forward. There's no time for it, which is why you always feel stuck and you can't get out of the rut, is because you don't have the time to do the things necessary to get out. It feels like a circle and you're just spinning in that circle. We break gym owners out of that circle, period. So I just taught you the what you need to do to double your money and cut your time in a quarter. And I told you why you need to do them. FitBiz University teaches you the how. So we give you all of this stuff done for you. In most cases, it's a 12-week program, right? And by the time you're finished with that 12 weeks, you will be at this endpoint. That's the average time. Some people quicker, some people longer, but it is very simple if you have everything in front of you and you just need to execute. I know this because I opened multiple locations, and guess what? At my second location, I didn't start off doing any of this stuff, none of it. Right? I brought the team in place. I taught them the systems. I showed them exactly what to do. And then I used my time to, one, lead them, motivate them, get the most out of them, and two, monitor the systems. That's what you're going to be doing with your 10 to 15 hours per week. You're going to be looking at everything and looking for any irregularities, looking for any red flags, looking for areas that you can improve, salespeople that you can talk to, ops people, head trainers and coaches. That's what you're going to be doing with your time. My second location, that's how I started it. I never started the day-to-day, and it took me about 12 weeks to get that entire system up and running and start bringing in profit from day one, using these exact same 5 methods. And I decided after that to package them all up, make them absolutely beautiful, very easy to consume, very plug and play, done for you. And that's exactly what FitBiz University's program is. It's called the Perfect Gym Model for brick and mortar only. And if you want to learn how to do it, we can hook you up, we can help you. Okay, so all you have to do in the chat below this is just type in how. And myself or one of my team members will reach out to you and just talk to you a little bit about how we help gym owners do this. Okay, so if you type in how, we'll reach out to you and we'll say, hey, let's set up a 15-minute call just to see if you'd be a good fit for this. Some gyms are not a good fit for this because they're not at a certain point, but you don't have to have a team. You can be a one-man show. It's a mentality thing. It's if you're mentally ready to make the shift, right? Some people are not mentally ready to be successful. Right. And so if you want to, that's how we do it. I hope you guys had a good 20 minutes that we spent together talking about this. Do these 5 things, guys. Do these 5 things, develop them, get them going, and it will have a massive, massive impact on your business. And if you want help with doing these 5 things, we coach you through the entire thing. One-on-one private coaching, group coaching with me, amazing curriculum, downloadable everything. If you want help with that, you know how to get the help. Otherwise, we are going to continually put out content. I'm going to keep putting out content every single day to you guys so you can crush it. You do not have to work with us for me to continually put out amazing content. I am just here to fast track you years. So thank you guys for tuning in. Hopefully you guys had a good weekend and you're ready to crush the day. So I'll see you guys next Monday. We are switching the time. I'll put a post about it, but we are going to be switching the time on these lives from 7 o'clock p.m. Central Time, 8 o'clock Eastern Time to 2 p.m. 2 p.m. Central Time, 3 p.m. Eastern Time. Many more people can get available during that time. So I'll see you guys then. Thank you for tuning in, and have a good night.